Hello dear students, a very warm welcome to today's session, class plus 2 and the topic listening test under the program Interactive English Language Training for Students. Under this program, the lectures are delivered on the 4 skills of the language. So let's move on and see what is in store for you today. Are you ready with your copies and your pens to appear in the listening test today? Hope you are ready. So before that, we'll discuss all the nuances, all the tips, all the guidelines. Then we'll move on with today's listening test. So this is the distribution of marks for your final examination. Written paper 80 marks and internal assessment 20 marks, which comprises of listening and speaking skills carrying 15 marks, pre-boards 3 marks and book bank 2 marks. So this is the program Interactive English Language Training for Students. Language is a means of communication. It is taught and assessed in terms of the 4 skills, namely listening skill, speaking skill, reading skill and writing skills. So under this program, from the EDUSAT, we deliver lectures based on all the 4 skills of the language. And out of these 4 skills, 2 being receptive and 2 being productive. So listening and reading, these are the receptive skills. Why receptive skills? Because input is received from outside. And speaking and writing, the productive skills, because you produce the language, you write the language or you speak the language. So when you have the input, then only you can give the output. So that is the main issue why speaking in English is found so difficult by the students. The main reason is lack of practice in the listening skills. So I hope you are progressing in this because we have been doing practice for the last 2 sessions. You are exposed to the listening skill now. It is not anything new to you. You have been provided with workbooks also, and in the workbooks there are question papers, worksheets and audios have been provided. Lot of practice is being done. So I hope your listening skill has improved and thereby your speaking skill will also improve. So here is the language skills: listening, reading, speaking and writing. So here the sequence has been changed. LSRW has been changed because we have paired them according to the receptive and productive skills. So listening and reading receptive and speaking and writing, these are the productive skills. So we call them LSRW skills also. So listening enjoys the first place because this is the most important. Why it is most important? Because if you do not listen to English, you cannot speak in English. When a child is born, the first skill the child is exposed to is the listening skill. ਬੱਚਾ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਊਂਡ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਬਟ ਉਹ ਸੁਣਦਾ, ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਸੇਮ ਸਾਊਂਡ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ. ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਦ ਬਿਗਨਿੰਗ ਆਫ ਦ ਲੈਂਗੁਏਜ. ਇਨ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਆਲਸੋ, when you listen to the alphabets, when you are in junior classes, you listened to the alphabets and then you repeated the alphabets. You must have done A for apple, B for boy, did you? And you used to repeat after the teachers and you learned slowly and gradually you learned the language. But as you grow to senior classes, you stop listening to good English. So that is why some of you are not able to speak in good English. So if you want to improve your speaking skills, you have to practice the listening skills. So this is the importance of listening skill. Why it is so important? Even nature has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's an indication of importance of listening skill. You should listen more and speak less. but slowly and gradually, I promise you, you will start speaking very good even if you listen less, because you would have mastered the language. We can speak well only if we listen well. So it is a receptive skill, and as you listen to good English, you will notice the sound of the language, the rhythm of the language, the intonation and stress of the language, which you can understand only by if you listen to good English. Now this is a topic to be covered under the speaking class, so you will understand better. Here I would only mention that these are the nuances of the language. A rhythm, intonation, they changes the meaning of the sentence. Wrong stress changes the meaning of the sentence. So as you listen, you get familiar with these terms also. The more a student listens to the target language, the more is he able to understand the nuances. So listening to English enables the learners to speak in English. Here is the difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is just a mechanical process involving the ears, while listening you have to be very focused. तो effort करना पड़ेगा, पूरा attention देना पड़ेगा, then only you will be able to listen well. So this is a difference. Hearing is not in your control. It just happens. But listening is in your control. If you are attentive, just now also, if you are sitting very attentively with your complete focus, then you will be able to perform well in today's 2 listening tests that I have planned for you. And in hearing, you may be listening, hearing some sound, but mentally you are somewhere else. But if you are listening with focus, it requires complete attention. No disturbance, no wandering minds, no talking to each other. You have to be completely focused on the audios. So I hope you are going to do that today in this session. Here are some of the tips for listening test. A repetition, what we discuss every time, because these are very important. Any important information given in the audio, you have to be very alert. If there is any name of any place, any date is mentioned, any mobile number, address, some important information is sometimes given on the question paper, note it down on the question paper. So when you are practicing in your classes, you have your workbooks. In your exams, you will have the question paper. But now, write it in your copies. While listening, you have to multitask. Multitasking means doing more than one task at a time. How it is multitasking? Because you will have to listen to the audio, and you have to read the question paper on the screen, and you have to write the answers in your copy. So that is why complete focus, complete attention is required. If your mind is wandering here and there, you will not be able to perform this multitasking. And pay attention to the instructions and underline the keywords. Keywords are the important words which will help you in performing well, because sometimes some important instruction is given. For example, if it is written no more than 3 words and or a number, that means your answer should not exceed 3, as all words are counted. And listen to the instructions before listening test starts. In all the audios, the speaker sometimes gives some instructions. You have to listen to that. For example, in all the audios, it said before you listen to the audio, read the questions. And if you do not read the questions, you will not be able to perform well. Go through the questions quickly and underline the cue words. Why it is important? Because you will know what to listen for. What to listen for means whether in the question some name is required, some phone number is required, what kind of information is required, then your ears will be alert towards that information only. So that is very important. Read the instructions carefully in the question paper and listen to the instructions in the audio. And some more instructions regarding the question paper is, sometimes it is written, choose the correct letter A, B, C. So that means you are not to write the answer, but write the letter of that answer. So this is also important. If you write the answers and not the letter, you will lose marks. Sometimes you miss an answer. The word is difficult, or you were not able to understand, maybe you are not aware of the correct pronunciation of that word. Due to any reason, you may miss an answer. It happens. Then what is the choice? Should you stop there and start thinking? No, do not stop. Because if you stop, you will lose the pace of the audio. So if you miss an answer, don't lose the pace of the speaker by thinking about it. Or what will happen if you do that? You will miss the next answers. When you finish the test, at the end, in the audio, the speaker will say you have some time to check your answers. During that time, you can think about it, and from the context, sometimes we are able to judge the answer. You can write it down. Don't leave any blank spaces. Guess it from the context and write, as there is no negative marking. Instead of leaving a blank space, you can guess and write the answer. The answer might be right also. So these are some of the instructions. I hope you have understood, and I hope you are ready for today's listening test. So please write down. We are going to have 2 tests today. So this is listening test number 1. Write down numbering 1 to 10 in your copy quickly. I will play an audio and show you the questions on the screen. Read them carefully, listen to the audio carefully, and write the answers. All the best.
+2 Listening Test Lesson Polly. Dear students, you will hear an audio and you will have to answer the questions as you listen. There are 2 sections. Section 1 is a monologue and section 2 will be a dialogue. Before you listen to the audio, read questions 1 to 5. Now listen to the audio. Polly was the youngest of all her siblings. She was the 4th daughter of Nambardar Ramlal. All the children except Polly were healthy and strong. Polly's real name was Sulekha, but since childhood everyone had been calling her Polly the simpleton. At birth she was fair and pretty, but when she was 2 years old she had an attack of smallpox. Only the eyes were saved, but the entire body of her was permanently disfigured by deep black pockmarks. Little Sulekha couldn't speak till she was 5. When at last she learned to speak, she stammered, so the other children often made fun of her and mimicked her. As a result, she talked very little. Ramlal was worried about Polly. She had neither good looks nor intelligence. Ramlal had 7 children, 3 sons and 4 daughters. The sons had been sent to the city to study in schools and later in colleges. Of the daughters, Radha, the eldest, had already been married. The second daughter, Mangala's marriage had also been settled, and when that was done, Ramlal would think of the third, Champa. They were good-looking, healthy girls, and it was not difficult to find bridegrooms for them. Polly was sent to school where the teacher helped her to get education and become a confident girl. She even refused to marry a greedy old man who asked for rupees 5,000 from Polly's father as dowry on the day of her marriage. He had to return home without the bride because of his greed. This is end of section 1. Please check your answers. Section 2. Before you listen to section 2, please read questions 6 to 10. It is a conversation between two friends who meet on the very first day after 12th at a college. Now listen to the audio. Hi Soumya, how are you doing?
What a pleasant surprise, Ananya. I'm fine, but we are meeting after so long.
When did you get admission here? Did your brother also get admission here?
I took admission today. It is my first day here, but my brother has joined the law college in Chandigarh. When did you start college?
I joined here a month back. How was your first day at college, Soumya?
Exceptionally wonderful. At college we have so much of freedom.
College life and school life are poles apart. At school, we predominantly used to sit in the same class. However, here we have to go to different classes.
Yes, I like it very much. Besides, there is not so much of stress about jotting notes, maintaining notebooks, etc. The teachers used to annoy us for maintaining notebooks in school.
I have noticed one strange thing. I don't know whether you did or not.
What thing?
Professors don't inquire from students why they were absent, and they teach at a fast pace. They don't realize that we have to get used to their accent and pronunciation to understand what they're saying.
I noticed it too. If the college life has its brighter side, it also has its darker side.
Yeah, we will have to go with the flow. This is the end of the listening test. Please.
So I hope you were able to answer all the questions. If there any blank is left, just fill it up quickly, then we'll check the answers. So here are the answers. Section 1, the first answer is Sulekha, and 2 years. Third is little. Fourth is 4. You can write FOUR or number 4, both are correct. Fifth is Champa. In section 2, the first answer, or you can say the sixth answer, is freedom. Number 7 is poles apart. Number 8 is annoy. Number 9 is inquire. And the last answer was brighter. Hope you were able to answer. So give yourself marks out of 10. This was your first listening test. We are going to have another test also based on poetry from your textbook. So ready for that? Write down listening test 2 and write numbers 1 to 10. Then you will listen to the audio and write the answers. So if you're ready, let's start with listening test 2. Here is your worksheet. Read it carefully. An audio will be played. You will have to answer the questions while listening to the audio. For questions 1 to 10, complete the sentences given below. Write no more than 2 words for each answer. So make sure your answer does not exceed the word limit, no more than 2 words. You can have a look at the complete worksheet before you listen to the audio. Now listen to the audio and fill in the blanks. When I consider how my light is spent ere half my days in this dark world and wide, and that one talent which is death to hide, lodged with me useless, though my soul more bent to serve therewith my Maker and present my true account, lest he returning chide. Doth God exact day labour light denied? I fondly ask. But patience to prevent that murmur soon replies, God doth not need either man's work or his own gifts. Who best bear his mild yoke, they serve him best. His state is kingly, thousands at his bidding speed, and post o'er land and ocean without rest. They also serve who only stand and wait. This is the end of listening test 2. You can check your answers. If you want to see the sheet again, here is starting from the first blank. If you have left any blank, please fill it up. Okay, so let's check the answers. The first is light, second hide, 3 useless, 4th present, 5th true, 6th prevent, 7 God, 8th gifts, 9th speed, 10th stand. So give yourself marks in this test also out of 10 and get it signed by your teachers. And as I mentioned earlier, you are supposed to keep a record of your marks in the listening test in every EDUSAT lecture, because that will indicate whether you are showing any progress or not. Unless and until you record the marks, you keep a tabulated form, you will not be able to understand whether you are progressing or not. Because if you are not progressing, that means something is wrong. We have to find out the cause of it. Why you are not scoring well in English, and those who are scoring well, 3 stars from my side to all of you. So here are some of the reasons why some students are not able to do well in their listening test. You have to identify your weak areas, and then only you will be able to improve yourself. Here are some of the reasons for poor listening. Lack of exposure to listening in English. I repeat this point because unless and until you expose yourself to good English, you listen to good English, you will neither be able to do well in the listening test or speak well. So this is very, very important. You cannot just rely on one EDUSAT lecture every month. You have to practice yourself also. As I mentioned earlier, you have been provided with workbooks, with lots of worksheets and audios. You have to practice in your class as well as at your home also. So please take care of this. And lack of good vocabulary is another point. If you haven't heard a particular word, you haven't heard it ever, you will not be able to understand it even if you are listening to it attentively. So what's the solution to this? We'll find out the solution very soon. Lack of interest. That you are not taking any interest at all. You are sitting in the class just because you are supposed to sit. So that is, you have to improve this. अगर तुसी इंटरस्ट ही नहीं लाओगे, शौक ही नहीं रखोगे, तो कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ अपने अंदर एक क्यूरियोसिटी टू लर्न समथिंग न्यू आप पैदा करनी पड़ेगी बेटा. Interruptions and noise. If there is a disturbance in the class, you will not be able to do well in the listening test. So there should be pin drop silence. Lack of complete attention. Your mind is wandering. तुसी क्लास बैठे हो, सोच कुछ हो रहे हो, mentally किते हो रहो. You will not be able to understand anything. Not only in this class, in any class. Anxiety, stress. किते मेरा आंसर ऑडियो अगे निकल जाए, मेरा आंसर मिस ना हो जाए. Some students have this kind of stress also. So relax. It's okay. It's just a practice. So lack of practice, again the same point. I keep on saying it again and again because it's very important. Practice. There is the mantra to any success is practice, practice and more practice. And the attitude. For learning anything, a negative attitude is not going to lead you anywhere. So change your attitude from negative to positive. Now here are the solutions how to improve the listening skills. When you are appearing in the test, whether it's in the EDUSAT lecture or in the class or during the exams or any competitions, stop talking. This is the first point. Don't talk. Be silent. Take notes in your copies and avoid or eliminate distraction. चाहे वो distraction ਤੁਹਾਡੇ आस-पास है, चाहे ਤੁਹਾਡੇ mind 'ਚ है, कोई भी चीज़ जो ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ attention ਨੂੰ divert कर रही है, उसਨੂੰ control करो and sit attentively in the session. And how to change your attitude? Repeat to yourself. English is, the most dreaded language, the most loved language also. Everyone wants to speak good English, isn't it? But people dread also. डरते भी हैं बहुत कि English पता नहीं क्या है. It's not difficult at all, beta. You can do it. In your sessions, during your classroom teachings, we keep on giving you many tips to improve your English. If you follow the guidelines of the teachers, of your trainers, you can learn it. मुश्किल नहीं है. तो सब तो पहले तो अपने माइंड इस चीज़ ਨੂੰ इस एटीट्यूड ਨੂੰ चेंज करो. इंग्लिश कोई हवा नहीं है, इंग्लिश कोई मुश्किल नहीं है. You can do it. It is not only about listening skill, it is about all the skills. And train your ears by listening to news in English, listening to audios in English. Audios ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕੀਤੇ हैं. In addition to that, you can find out more audios also with the help of your teachers and even watch good English movies with subtitles. But select the movies and audios with the help of your teachers. Read newspapers. As I mentioned earlier, lack of vocabulary. अगर vocabulary अच्छी नहीं है, words ਦੀ knowledge नहीं है, words ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ पता ही नहीं है, you will not be able to understand that word. Even if you listen to it, you will not be able to write it. So how to improve your vocabulary? In addition to reading your own books, your books have so many words. You have to learn those words. By learning, I mean every aspect of that word, the correct pronunciation of the word, the spelling of the word, and how to use it in sentences. So there are enough words in your textbooks. In addition to that, read newspapers. Read good storybooks. All the schools have good libraries with good stock of books and many storybooks also. Get those issued. Read them. And with the help of your teachers, and you have your dictionaries also. Each and every student has been provided with the dictionary. Use those dictionary, carry dictionary every day in your bag. And whenever you find a new word which you are not able to understand, go through the dictionary. Find out the meaning. Love words. Words are the blocks on which you are going to build your tower of success. Without words, you cannot speak in English. Without words, you cannot write in English. And without words, even if you listen to a word, you will not be able to comprehend it, to understand it. So love words, beta. And practice, and lots of practice. Listen to a word or a sentence and then repeat it. Say it aloud to practice it. It will improve your listening as well as speaking skill. When your teachers are teaching in the class, listen to them. Listen to the news readers, and you will learn the intonation and stress. As I mentioned previously also, the wrong stress and wrong intonation changes the meaning of the sentence also. So you will be familiar with that after you come across these terms in your speaking lessons, and practice those. So intonation is when the voice rises or falls in pitch, high pitch, low pitch while speaking. In English, intonation often communicates the emotion or attitude of the speaker. So this you have to understand well. That will help you in understanding what the speaker is saying in the audio. Speaker the सिर्फ words नहीं सुनने, speaker ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ understand करना है from the tones also, because हमेशा words नहीं पूछे जाते listening test. Sometimes understanding based questions भी आ जाते हैं. For that you need to understand also whatever the speaker is saying. Now listen to yourself. This is a task for you, an interesting one. Have a conversation with yourself. Sometimes we are shy of speaking in English to our friends in the class. Then practice it with your own self. You converse with yourself in front of the mirror or in your mind. You can even record it. If you record it, it will be very interesting. You would love listening to your own voice. अपनी आवाज़ सुनोगे बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. करके देखना. Use your own voice to practice your English listening skills. अपनी आवाज़ सुनो. But before that, you will have to listen to that audio. Listen and practice and then record. So this is the sequence. First listen, then practice, rehearse it, and then record it. Then listen to it. Then find your own mistakes. And I promise you, you will be able to find out your mistakes after a couple of practices. You can identify your mistakes and try to overcome these. It's an amazing way of improving your listening skills. So dear students, we give you guidelines, we give you advice, but unless and until you follow these guidelines, you follow the advice, you will not be able to show improvement in all the skills. So this is very important. As I said, everyone wants to learn English. Everyone wants to write good English. Everyone wants to speak good English. So how can we do that? By mastering all these 4 skills for which we have designed this program. And I hope you are following all the lectures and you are following the advice, and I hope you are all having an IELTS copy also and writing each and every thing that whatever is told to you, you write those points in your copy and show your listening test performance to your teachers also. So that's all for today. All the best. Keep practicing, keep growing. Thank you so much.